Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second week of the Raise Your Vibe focus for the month of August. We are channeling all the abundance directly to you. And we know that this is possible by things that we do up here. So we talked a lot about mindset last week and some different things that we can do to raise our vibe, little daily tasks each day. And today I am so darn excited to have Rhonda Favano, who is not just an experienced oil user, but she is an author, and she is an expert in the area of helping us kind of peel back the layers of these negative emotions and know what in the heck we're supposed to do with them. So, Rhonda, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Geez, Louise, those are big shoes to fill right there, Skyla. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Good morning,
Rhonda,
everyone. Yes.
I am so sorry. I'm going to pause for just a second because I forgot to mute everyone. I am so sorry. And then will you please unmute yourself? Okay, take it away.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Good morning. No problem. It's early, and it's Saturday, so it's okay. It's all good. All right, guys. What an honor to be able to sow a little bit of wisdom, I hope, to you this morning. And do you guys bring your oils? Everybody have oils with you? I'm going to tell you, I've been using Clarity. I like to use Clarity, especially when I'm speaking, and Highest Potential. Those are my two that I'm really, anointing myself with this morning, and Cistus. Of course, I'd already done some others. All right, if this is new, if this whole concept of, having toxic emotions and the fact that they can affect us physically is a new concept for you, I want you to grab some cedarwood, sandalwood, frankincense, something like that, vetiver, a good brain oil, right? And I want some of it on your thumb, the pad of your thumb, and I want you to hold it on the roof of your mouth. So you can just wave to all of us as you're sucking your thumb. I've already done that with my Clarity. But seriously, that is one of the best ways to oxygenate your brain. So grab your oil. Don't feel like funny about it if you've never done it. Everybody that knows me, my team, they've already probably done it before they got on here because they know that that's what's coming. But yep, I see Michelle down there. That's what we do. And then we just wave to each other because it's just the appropriate thing to do. See, Yvonne's got it. There you go. That's how it's done. So the reason I say that is because not only is it waking up our brain, but it's going to help us to move past some of the emotional blocks that we may have. And guess what? There was a point in time where this girl right here thought, I don't really have any emotional blocks. No, not me. Emotional blocks are for other people. But enlightenment came. And now I know that I have emotional blocks and I continue to gather them up. Unfortunately, I think as long as we live on this earth, we're going to have opportunities to do that. So that gives us opportunities to clear them. I have a question before we get started. I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to work from so that you guys have a visual as well as, me speaking. Have you set your intention, or do you have something in mind what you want to get from the Raise Your Vibe that we're doing this month? Or are you just going with the flow? Because it's going to make a huge difference. If you're very open and you have some things that you would like to accomplish, there's no right or wrong. You're going to get a lot more out of it than if you just show up here and there and listen and move on. So if you haven't already set some of those intentions, I would do that. I would totally, completely do that. And do something every day for a few minutes. This does not take a lot of time, but it's about being intentional and doing something every single day. So I have a feeling we're all putting oils on every day anyway. So we could use that time while we're applying our oils to be intentional with them and telling them what we desire them to do for us and that kind of thing. Because I don't know about you girls, men, or maybe men on here, I plan to elevate. My goal is to elevate every single day, to be better, stronger, more open, and have a bigger, more positive ripple than I had the day before. All right, let's see if we can screen share. Okay, can you see the screen okay? Somebody give me a thumbs up and just make sure. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so this is where I'm coming from. This may not be where you come from, and it's okay. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong, there just is. My philosophical basis for the way I'm going to approach what I'm going to share with you today is that, number one, according to Genesis 1:26 and 27, we are created in the image of God, which means that there is a blueprint of perfection within every aspect of our being and every cell of our bodies waiting to become manifest. And that excites me, you guys. That sets me on fire. Repressed emotions block us from access to our cellular record of God's perfection, thus preventing us from attaining the full measure of our creation. That's my belief, and that's where I'm going to be speaking to you from. So, who has emotions? Anybody? How are they influencing, or do they influence your daily life? Because I know for me, they influence pretty much everything. The question really is are you in control or are they? So in other words, are you just going with the flow of what the current emotion that you happen to be experiencing is, or are you using them in a positive manner? Because here's the thing. Our emotions are indicators. They are not dictators, or at least they should. That's the way it should be. They should be indicators of, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the things that I should be doing because I feel good. Or I don't feel good. I've got all this negative stuff, these negative vibes happening. Let that be an indicator that you need to shift, that something needs to change. Because the truth of the matter is, every single day, you guys, we get to make a choice. And I want to introduce you to my two friends. We've got Pitiful Paul, and I bet you can guess which one he is. And we've got Perky Pete. Now, these two guys work together in the same office, and they have the same type of job, and they ride together on the train every single day to work. Now, if you will notice, one of them on the way to work has chosen to see the world through what maybe rose-colored glasses, if you want to say it that way. He's choosing to be positive. He's choosing to see the sunshine. He's choosing to see the good. You see the other dude over there? Not so much. He doesn't want to be on that train. He doesn't want to go to work. He's not happy with what he had for breakfast. The day has barely started and he's miserable. The point of that is we have a choice, you guys. Every single day we get to choose how we're going to react. We can't choose everything that happens to us. I'm not saying that, but we can choose how we react to it. And I know none of you are Pitiful Pauls, but I bet you there are some in your life. I bet you we all have Pitiful Paul in our lives somewhere, right? Not you. You would never, ever be Pitiful Paul. I know you're Perky Pete, but let's talk about, just for a minute, just a tiny bit of science, because that's about all I got for you, is a tiny bit. But I want to talk about how unresolved emotions get stored in our body. Now, let's keep in mind that our body has hundreds of trillions of cells. Each cell, each of those 100 trillion some odd cells, which is more than I can really fathom, right, have the ability to contain up to 6 gigabytes of memory. I don't know about you, but that's kind of, wow. That's a lot of information that can be stored in my body. So imagine that unresolved emotional experiences are recorded as cellular memory or DNA, and they remain in our body as live programming until we choose to deal with it. Now, we typically think about emotions being stored in like the brain or the heart, right? Because we feel them, we think them, we experience them that way. The truth of the matter is they can be stored anywhere, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Everything is frequency. Everything is energy. If I say frequency, I say energy. I really am using them interchangeably, and I may do that. But I believe that our universe was created by God as he spoke with a frequency or with energy. Again, that's Rhonda's belief. Everything has energy. Our bodies are electrical, you guys. I mean, think about some of the tests and things that are done. You know, if our heart stopped, what happens? What do they do to start our heart again? Our bodies are electrical. And so we have all of this data that gets stored in different places in our body. And this is what's happening. Every thought that we have creates a chemical reaction in our body. And if it's a negative thought, are you ready for this? It can create some 1,400 negative chemical reactions. So think stress, think anger, think frustration, think grief. But every chemical reaction, then we have an emotion. So there are a lot of things going on in the body that we just don't think about. So you're probably going to think, okay, this is real simple and I got this, Rhonda, but you might not. So just bear with me and humor me for a minute. So when we're in a state of experiencing negativity, negative emotions, versus when we are in that positive state, you know, that icky feeling versus, okay, remember our 2 friends, Perky Pete, Pitiful Paul, you know. So when we're in a state of negativity, it hampers our ability to live and enjoy our life. When we're in a positive state of mind, then we promote peace and joy and contentment. We're enjoying our life. On the negative side, it limits our ability for the body to function and do what it was created and designed to do. But when we're in that healthy state of mind, our body is supported. All the body systems are able to function much more effectively. When we move back into negative, we may have pain and illness, and some of them are not, I'm going to use the word diagnosable. You know, I bet we all know people who have gone from doctor to doctor to doctor for a diagnosis and we won't even talk about why we feel like we need that, but they go and they never get one. So there can be different reasons for that. And one of them might be that there's an emotional component creating this physical symptom, and it's not gotten to the point of disease yet that can be detected. But when we feel good, there's so much research that shows even following a surgery, if we go in with a lot of faith and the mindset of a positive outcome and quick healing, we don't experience as much pain. Our recovery time is much faster. So the reduction of pain and illness is huge. Again, going back, we're just talking about emotions right now, you guys. We know that there are all types of emotional imbalances when we're in that negative field, all kinds, and a range from, gee, I'm a little upset today, to all types of diagnoses, right, for, you know, emotional illnesses, so to speak. When we're in that state, that positive state of mind, we have emotional stability. You know, we're not up and down. Anybody ride that roller coaster? You know what I'm talking about? And you don't even know why. You're up and you're down and you're all over the place. The frequency level in our body is greatly reduced when we are in the negative. It's a deficit to our body, if you want to look at it that way. When we're on the positive side, we have less stress and the frequency of our body is going to be higher. Therefore, we're going to be healthier, period. That's physics. So let's talk about the law of vibration, because we talked about that last week, remember? Michael talking about our vibe and what that looked like. If you guys missed that, and even if you didn't, maybe go back and listen to that again. It's 30 minutes of golden nuggets for sure. So the law of vibration says everything that exists in the universe consists of pure energy, which resonates and exists as a vibratory frequency. That's the law of attraction. So whether or not we embrace it, whether or not we think it's true, it is. It would be like us saying, oh, gravity doesn't exist. Well, we can resist it all we want, but it's not going to change the fact of the law of gravity is what it is. You guys remember this guy? Albert Einstein? People thought he was crazy. Did you know that? He was so far ahead of his time that he was not well received. And here's something that he said. And remember, he was a scientist. He said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Physics is science, people. Okay, I can't see the chat screen, but you could type in there, what do you see? And maybe, I don't know if Skyla can see the chat or not, but I can't see it. Maybe she can just tell us what you guys are typing. What do you see?
So Rhonda, we're getting a lot of ducks, bunny, a duck and then a rabbit, a bunny. I see a bird, duck, a duck and a rabbit, duck, a duck and a rabbit.
Okay.
It's
so a lot of different things. So we're seeing some different things here. My question to you guys is, which of you are right? Who's right? And the truth of the matter is, no one, everyone, we're all right. It's our perception, because sometimes some of us look at this and we do see a duck. Some of us look at this picture and we see a rabbit. Now, I affectionately call it a dabbit at this point, but it's in our perception. And perception is everything, right? Because our perception is our reality. So if you see it as a rabbit, that's your reality. It's a rabbit. If you see it as a duck, that's your reality. It's a duck. That doesn't mean that I'm wrong and you're right. Okay? So I want you to hang on to that. You may think it's silly, but I want you to hang on to that, because our beliefs, our perceptions, we're going to look at that next, have a huge role in how we live out our lives. Anybody familiar with a paradigm? Have you ever heard the term paradigm? And if so, what is a paradigm? We're going to look at that, because paradigms, you guys, have so much power over us. And you are not going to be a big fan of paradigms when you realize that paradigms are other people's habits, other people's beliefs. They are not yours until you accept them as yours. They're passed from one generation to the next. And let's take a look and see what that really looks like. Here's an easy one. What type of food is appropriate for breakfast? And if you write that in the chat, I have a feeling that we're going to see things like bacon and eggs and sausage and biscuits and gravy and pancakes and oatmeal and yogurt, right? I mean, those are probably the things, if you guys are typing in the chat, the things that are coming up. And those are typically the things we think about. The question is, where did you get that paradigm? The belief of whatever it is you typed in that chat was what's appropriate for breakfast. Because what if we wanted to eat a pizza for breakfast? or a steak for breakfast, or a salad for breakfast. Is that okay? Is that wrong? No. But we have paradigms believing very simple things like what we should eat at what particular time of the day. Because that's what our parents told us. At least in our house, we had cereal and we had eggs and we had bacon and, you know, we had those things. That's what we had for breakfast. We were never served other things. How about the way we dress for particular events? And I'm not talking about work where there's a requirement, but there's this unwritten rule about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, right? Who made that rule? I don't know. Somebody did, and they passed it down to us so that we feel that there's certain attire that is only acceptable for certain events. This is one of my favorites. And I want you guys to type in the chat, what is the correct way to position the roll of toilet paper on the holder? Should the paper be over or under? What is the correct way? Because I have a feeling that you each know. And what if it's different? I had someone say, oh, I never put it on the holder. We just set it on top of the holder. And there are some of us that would go, oh my gosh, that you can't, no, you can't do that. That's just wrong. So I don't know, but at my house, I know the proper way, and the paper goes over. Now, my sons and my husband at times, they didn't know that. And I would have to go along and change the paper. Anybody ever turned it over because it was the wrong direction? So the truth of the matter is it's going to work on come off that roll no matter what, right? But we get these perceptions of how things should be and what's the right way. So those were a little bit funny, but just it will give you the idea of sometimes how ridiculous these paradigms can be. But they're very important as well, because what about the paradigm of believing that being successful isn't possible for me? Anybody ever felt like that? Nope. It happens for other people. They're just in the right place at the right time, or they're just lucky, or they were just born into this family or that family. And we rationalize things, but we're like, nope, that's not me. That's not going to happen for me. That's dangerous, you guys. And somewhere along the way, somebody told us that, or we perceived that they told us that. And this is another big one. And so we're all, anyway, money is evil. Anybody ever thought that or heard that? You don't have to write it if you don't want me, just, yeah. I know as a child, I was taught that. Not at home, but in church. And money is not evil. If I worship money and that becomes my God, then that's a whole other story. But if money has no power other than the power I give it, other than the power you give it. So when we have money, we choose what we do with it. We can do really wonderful and amazing things with it, or we can do evil things with it. But money itself has no power. So it can't be evil. It only follows who has control of it. But that is a big one, and a lot of people get hung up on that. A lot of people. So paradigms are problematic for a lot of reasons. And let's just unpack that real quick for a minute, because I know that after seeing my list of some of the silly things, but also some things that might have hit home a little closer, you're going to want to unpack those things, and you're going to want to leave them on the roadside somewhere. First and foremost, and this may be just me, but somebody else is telling us what to think or do. And I don't know about you, but that's not okay with me. I like to do my own thinking, and I didn't always. I was what I call myself a sheeple. I went with the flow. I did what other people said I should do. Didn't work out so well in a lot of cases. It stifles our creativity. We're in a box, you guys. It's like it keeps us in prison. These silly belief systems, these crazy belief systems, these powerful belief systems that we have, they keep us boxed in where we can't truly live the life that we were designed and created to live, and the life that we truly want to live. And oh my gosh, it keeps us from dreaming. You guys remember when you were a child and you would pretend? You would pretend to be somewhere else. You would pretend to be, I don't know, a teacher, an astronaut, a singer, whatever, right? It was so easy to just get into that mode of whatever it was. And you could dream about being anything that you wanted to be and going anywhere you wanted to go. I think about how all of the amazing places that my sister and I went in playtime, just pretending when we were kids. But then we grow up and we take on all these paradigms. So it hinders our success. We are not able to have the success that is ours, that we are destined to have, because we have all these negative belief systems that are not serving us. And the really sad thing is, we pass them along to others. I have passed things along to my children that now I had to go back and say, I am so sorry. That is not true. This is true. But we are doing, it's a cycle that's repeated over and over and over and over again. But today, you and I can break that cycle. Excuse me, because we know better. If we truly realized how powerful our thoughts are, we would never, underline that, never again think a negative thought. We just wouldn't do it. Not to, although, remember all those 1,400 chemical reactions that are going on in the body when we have negative thoughts? So, Proverbs 23:7 says, for as he has thought in his soul, so he is. So in other words, whatever I believe about myself, that's my truth. So whatever you believe about yourself, that's your truth. Doesn't mean that that was, in my opinion, God's will for us. It's what we have accepted as our truth. So I want you to think about, just listen to my words as I speak these next couple of statements and see how they feel. I want you to notice how you feel when I say them. Things never work out for me. Versus, I'm a very fortunate person. Things are always working out for me. Is there a difference? Could you tell a difference in how you felt from those statements? And when you say, things never work out for me, and I bet we've all said it, or something to that effect, it doesn't feel good, does it? We're speaking that over ourselves. We're speaking that as our truth. Remember Proverbs 23:7 versus I'm a very fortunate person, or things always work out for me. Huge difference. How about this one? I never have enough money to pay my bills. I know you guys have never said that. Oh, no, nobody here would ever say that, right? Or there's a lot more month than there is money. Things like that. It doesn't feel good, does it? Versus all my needs are met abundantly. Doesn't that just flow differently? Just the energy of my voice, those words, feels different. I have more than enough of everything. Versus I never have enough to pay my bills. Huge difference just in the words that we speak. So the law of attraction says this: I attract to my life whatever I give my attention, my energy, and my focus to, whether it's positive or negative. And we learned last week that it does not matter. The law is the law, and we are in control of whether it's positive that we're bringing or it's negative that we're bringing. So yes, does that take shifting of our mindset? Does that take changing our vocabulary? Absolutely. It might even take changing who we're spending a lot of time with, you guys. Sometimes we have to audit our circle. All right, so just in case You're going, I don't know about that girl and her law of attraction stuff. Have you ever used any of these phrases? Out of the blue, serendipity, coincidence, fate, karma, oh, it fell into place, synchronicity, luck, or it was just meant to be. Because those are all evidence of the law of attraction, you guys. There's no such thing as luck. It's the law of attraction. It's what we're bringing. So I'm going to say something right now, and don't be a hater. Get out some more oil, anoint yourself with some oil. But if we're not happy with what's going on in our lives, we have to look to us. It's about us. And again, I'm not saying we can change everything that happens to us, but we can take control of how we react to it. That's our choice. Is it always easy? No. But is it easy to live in a pool of negativity? Oh, heck no. No, and it feels really icky. So in our brain, the brain is so amazing, so amazing. When we have those habits, those belief systems, those word patterns, we create what are called neural pathways in the brain. And so that's how we get a habit. We don't even have to think about it. So have you ever gotten into your car and maybe you're driving from the grocery store home or from work and you're driving home and, I don't know, it's a 10-minute drive. It's a 30-minute drive. I don't know how far it is. But you drive, you're driving, and then you get home, you pull into the garage, and you just suddenly have the realization of, oh my gosh, I really don't even remember the drive home. Like, I don't remember the stopping at the stop sign. I don't remember taking that left. I don't remember that. Your mind was like somewhere else thinking about other things, but you have a neural pathway of how to get home. Like, it's in muscle memory for you. So you've got that pathway where you don't even have to think about it. It's like if you haven't ridden a bicycle for 20 years and you get on one, be cautious, but you'll remember how to ride a bicycle. You have created that neural pathway. You've created that muscle memory. So that's still there, whether you use it or not. And so the beautiful thing is those things are there, but we can change them. But it takes a while to change habits and to change thought patterns. We want to make a new neural pathway in the brain. So when we begin changing our vocabulary and leaving out don't and not and no, it may take us a while to eliminate those. But once we do, we'll create new pathways. Because here's the way it works. It's really simple. We have our belief systems that cause our behavior, that result in our results. The end effect is the result of our beliefs and our behaviors. So if we don't like the results, we can change our beliefs and our behaviors and we'll get different results. But insanity is believing we can continue to do the same things we've always done, right? And get different results because it's just not happening. The truth of the matter is when we change our paradigm, you guys, we will change our lives. Our lives will change. So oils. Can oils help us with this? Oh my gosh. Why do you think I had you put oil on the roof of your mouth before we ever got started to help remove those blocks? So we all know about oils. We all know where they come from and all that. And that Young Living has real living oils from real living plants. So what the oils have the ability to do is they carry coded information that can translate our DNA or our cell memory, and they can actually clean up cells. They can deprogram and reprogram cells and help them to return back to that perfect blueprint that God created them to be in. So yeah, that sounds like that's pretty powerful, and it is. I don't know anything else in this world that has that ability, you guys. So you literally have your hands on little bottles of possibilities, little bottles of miraculous happenings. It's amazing. So I'm not going to go into the science of that. There are great books out there. Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple. It's about that thick, you guys, but it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal if you want to understand all the science. So let's take a look at a book that I love is Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. So let's take a look at the book under a section where we can look up emotional components that tie to symptoms we're having. So the way it works is you go look up a symptom like allergies, and these are the emotions that are known to tie to that. Suppressed weeping, imitation substitute for colds, feelings that we don't seem to have an answer to change, like we don't know how to change it. Fear of sharing feelings with other people, feeling stifled and denying our own power. That doesn't mean that we would necessarily experience all of those, but I promise you, if you're an individual that deals with a lot of allergies, you're going to have 2 or 3 or more of those. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because you can figure out the emotional component of what's happening to you physically in your body, and you can change it. That's what I'm telling you. So remember when I said earlier that emotions get stored in our body? So I'm going to use anger because we can all relate to that. I guarantee we've all been angry at some point, and probably this week. And some of us maybe even this morning. I don't know. But we all know what anger feels like. So anger has a frequency. And its frequency most closely resembles our liver, our gallbladder, that area of the body. So because it resonates at the same frequency as the liver gallbladder area of the body, it's going to go reside there. When we're angry and we're not dealing with it, it'll go sit there in that area. And eventually we'll have an issue, a physical symptom, with the body saying, knock, knock, hello, Rhonda, because that's what a symptom is. Rhonda, I need some help here. I've done what I can do, but I need you to help me now. And most of the time that correlates back to an emotion or emotions, because we all do this. We all play things over and over in our mind. So can you recall the last time that maybe you had a disagreement with someone and, you traded words, thoughts, beliefs, maybe in a very heated manner. And when you left, you maybe felt tightness in your shoulders, or you developed a headache, or maybe your stomach hurt. But you felt something physical. Now, that person didn't physically touch you, but the emotion, the anger, the frustration, the hurt, all the things that you were feeling during that disagreement manifested somewhere in your body physically. We could feel it. Now, a week goes by, and I know you've all done this. I know I'm not the only one who's done this. And we think about that person and that disagreement. And we begin to play it over in our head again. And I'm like, geez Louise, I should have said X, Y, Z. Or if I would have only told them blah, blah, blah. And we have that argument again mentally in our brain. Now, our subconscious doesn't know the difference between whether that's actually happening or not. It doesn't know the difference between when we're dreaming, daydreaming, visualizing, whatever. It doesn't know that's not happening. So we experience that again, and we may get that headache again. We may get a stomach ache again, whatever that is, we'll feel it. And we didn't even have a real argument with anyone. It was all relived in our brain. And we keep that alive. And that builds that emotion more and more and more, and it keeps going to the liver or to wherever it is in the body. So you see how that can be dangerous, you guys? And you see what is the benefit of me playing that over and over in my mind? There is none. There is none. It just causes more discord and disresonance in my body and lowers the frequency of my body. So then I have to go figure out, why am I experiencing what I'm experiencing? Allergies. How about this one? Eczema. And I chose some that are pretty common. If we have not experienced these ourselves, we probably know someone well who has. So eczema, a sign of being oversensitive. Feeling that you're being interfered with or prevented from doing something, thus you feel frustrated. Unresolved hurt feelings, unresolved feelings of irritation. Irritation when we have skin issues is always a thing, some type of irritation. Let's talk about the gallbladder, because there are a lot of people who don't even have a gallbladder because it got so sick. Feelings of bitterness, feelings of anger. Remember I talked about the anger getting stored there, and wanting to force things. So these are 2 books that I strongly encourage you to look at if you don't own. Add them to your library. Feelings Buried Alive actually has an app that I love because it's on my phone and I can go type in a symptom and get the emotional components to it just instantly. Neither of these books have anything to do with oils or Young Living or anything about that, but they are powerful tools that I use continually. Both of my books are pretty worn from a lot of use, but they have helped me tremendously over the years. I love both of them. So let's look at some oils and affirmations, because we can clear these emotions. So once we find them, I'm sure you're going, okay, well, that's great. But once we figure out what they are, sometimes we don't know what to do. So anger, as an example, some oils that help us to clear anger are bergamot, cedarwood, Christmas spirit, forgiveness, joy, lavender, myrrh, peace and calming, release, rose, valor. And I bet you that you've got something. You don't have to have all of them. It's just like the reference guide, right? Hopefully you've got 1 or 2. And then some affirmations that we can pair with using 1 or 2 of those oils to help to release the anger from our bodies is, I am love. I am calm. I am forgiveness. And what I like to do is when I apply the oils, I like to say one of the affirmations out loud so I hear myself say it, and I like to repeat it at least 3 times. So I would say, I am love, I am love, I am love. Okay, and the more we do it, the longer we do it, the more we become to believe it, because remember, what we hear and what we're saying becomes our reality. And we want to shift what's, those old beliefs to be new. Grief is another big one for people. Bergamot, cedarwood, clary sage, harmony, joy, present time, white angelica, all beautiful oils to help us to move past grief. Some affirmations that we might want to use are, I am comforted, I am consoled, I am soothed. So you see, we have these tools, you guys. We have tools to help ourselves and to help our loved ones and other people that we know. Now, journaling is huge. So you may not be a journaler, but it's huge when we're working through emotional things. And here's some proven benefits, and not just for emotions, but these are some proven things scientifically that we know are beneficial when we are journaling. It helps us to meet our goals and dreams. Writing them down, writing something down, is we're 93 to 95% more likely to achieve it if we put in writing. It's huge. Managing anxiety, reducing stress, coping with depression. It helps us to prioritize our problems, our fears, and our concerns. Assist us to recognize triggers and learn better ways to control them. It helps us to identify the negative thoughts and behaviors that we're repeating over and over again. And it provides us the opportunity for positive self-talk, because not only can we write down what we're feeling and what triggered us and what happened to us today, but we can write down a way we can reframe it, and we can change in writing the way we want to react to that. But even if we didn't react that way, we can write out what we wish we would have done and what we would do the next time. And it's so powerful to do that. So another thing that I recommend is Conquering Toxic Emotions. It's a small book, but it walks us through understanding the things that we talked about today and more. And there, along with it, is a workbook and a journal. So I'm not a huge journaler. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But this journal I created for people who aren't necessarily journalers, because it's got 30 days of journaling and it asks you questions. And when you answer those questions, you are able to identify, as you're doing some clearing of things that, like what we looked at, you're able to identify those patterns easily and see because we can usually pick out 3 or 4 emotions we want to conquer immediately, but they're always underlying things, and we can see them pretty quickly when we do that. So I may be a little partial, but I do think that both of those are very beneficial to us. If you don't own a feelings kit, grab yourself a feelings kit. You guys, there is a protocol for it. That's a choice. There's Gary's Great Day Protocol. There's a whole clearing, a 30-day protocol of clearing and conquering toxic emotions. You have choices. Find what works for you, but do something. Every time I do what I call an emotional cleanse, and I do it for 30 days, my life is better. And the people around me, their lives are better. And they always really, really appreciate it. Trust me. But we've got in the feelings kit, valor, harmony, forgiveness, inner child release, present time, amazing oils. But if you don't know where to start, these are some ideas. These are places of where to start and what to do. But don't get stuck in analyzing and thinking about it. Do it. Whatever you felt drawn to, that's what you need to do. Don't go think about it anymore. Whatever spoke to you, whatever resonated with you, just do it. The most important thing, you guys, is how do we see ourselves? And that pretty little kitty cat sees himself as this powerful lion. And I pray that for each of you, that when you look in the mirror, you see something equally powerful. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Skylar, can I do that?
Absolutely, you can. I'm going to start with one question that came up in the chat box. They would like to know, what is the best way for them to get the Conquering Toxic Emotion books?
Growing Healthy Homes.
Okay. Perfect.
Growing Healthy Homes. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And then, yes, go ahead and take it away. If there's questions, you guys, either unmute yourself or put them in the chat box, whichever. That was just absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
I would say too, if you have questions or comments, maybe you had a big aha moment that you want to just share with all of us, but especially Rhonda. I know that as speakers, it helps to know that, oh wow, what I shared just really impacted somebody. And so if you feel comfortable with that, I know that Rhonda and I would love to hear it too. So.
Angel, the emotional cleanse that I'm talking about is clearing the emotions, and I use the clearing technique here. It's something that I've used forever. And you choose your oils based on what emotion you want to do. Now, I have also done early on, I've done the whole feelings kit. I don't even know how many times. So, and based on that and my own experiences with my clients in the clinic, I put together the other, another clearing. And so whatever resonates with you is what I would say to do. But this little book, I don't think you can buy them that look like this now. The cover's changed, but this little book is so worn and tattered. Get this book, you guys. Like it's little, and all it is emotions and symptoms and ways out, affirmations and things.
Rhonda, can I just say thank you? And this is just the coolest thing. It's just such an aha moment for me. I have a group called Broken But Not Finished. I was literally posting in this morning. I had the picture of the cat, and the shadow was the lion, and I had the verse Proverbs 23:7, and then I didn't know what you were going to talk on, and it was like all the same thing. And I'm just sitting here going, God is so amazing. Like, it is so good, and it's so true. And I just learned so much about how to incorporate the oils with that. So thank you. So cool. So
absolutely cool. Tina, thank you for sharing that. I call those God winks, because it's just us getting the confirmation of, yes, we're on the right track. Yes, we're sharing or doing what we are supposed to be doing. And it just, yes. So that's awesome.
If I could just say to like Rhonda, I love when you teach this topic, and it's always from the heart and it's so genuine. And my first time when I heard you teach this, so this was a while ago, it changed my entire life, because I didn't realize, like, I consider myself a super positive human, but I totally didn't realize that my thought patterns were actually not as positive as I thought they were. And I had an issue with like my financial worth. I had an issue with constantly feeling like my time was getting hijacked. And as soon as I became aware of this, and I started shifting my thoughts and shifting my words and using my oils, like I was wearing whatever oil I felt drawn to, and I was speaking affirmation into my day. And the most powerful thing that happened to me, and I can still make it happen if I lose track of myself, was I always used to say, I just don't have enough time. There's not enough hours in the day for me to do everything I need to do. I just can't get it done. It's like impossible. And as soon as I started saying, I have all of the time I need to do the things that are priorities to me, and I started shifting things, and like, even when I would feel like my patterned behavior was to rush and panic, I would all of a sudden be aware that I'm doing that. And I would slow it down, and I would just say, I have the time I need, and I'm going to get done what I need to get done. And I would use my oils. And to this day, that new way of thinking has changed my life. It's unbelievable, let alone my issue with actually like money and my poverty mentality. I always used to like feel bad when I would make money, because I felt like, why am I making money? Like there's people in Africa that are living in zinc roofs. And when my perception of having abundance became that being able to pay forward abundance when you have abundance, when that shifted into a positive thought rather than a negative thought filled with guilt and, you know, whatever, my whole Young Living, growing my business changed, everything changed. And so I just have to say that of all of the things in my life, of all of the classes I've ever attended, this class means so much to me. It changed my life. And Rhonda, you just rocked it as per usual. Anyways, thank you. I never not need to hear it. And this morning I like needed to hear it again. So thank you so much.
Thank you, friend. Okay, thanks.
Rhonda, I want to thank you. I'm new to Young Living, as you know, and thank heavens I just got my Young Living package. I was so excited that I was opening it while you were talking and I was listening. But is this posted somewhere, because I joined late, where I can go back and watch it again?
It sure will be, Starlin. It'll take me just a little bit to get it uploaded, and then I'll make sure that Rhonda has a copy of that and all of the diamonds here.
Okay. I really appreciated it. I mean, your talk today has just, it's a wow moment. Yeah. But I was having difficulty, so I have a question. How do you join in on the chat box? Because it wouldn't let me. I don't know how to do that.
Are you you're on a phone?
Yes.
Somebody else that's on I don't use a phone for Zoom. Somebody else that's on a phone, can you help us?
I'm pretty sure there's a little dot or something at the bottom. If you tap your screen, I think it'll say chat.
Well, it says participants, but then when I tap it, there's no place for me to type anything.
Okay. I know it's a little trickier.
Do I have to tap on my own name before I type, or?
Once you go to where it says more with the 3 dots, then you hit chat.
More.
Yeah, more and then chat.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you, Jody.
You're well, as my hand is stuck in sourdough.
I really need to screenshot that right there.
But Rhonda, I really wanted to thank you because I thought this was great. And it was funny because this week I had helped a friend get started, and I was telling my husband all about it. And then our neighbor walks by and she says randomly to me, right? She says, "Do you do oils?"
Oh,
And she's actually coming over today because she wants to smell some oils.
Amen.
But it's really, I just think that you said it really well. Like, you attract whatever you give your attention and focus to. So like when I'm doing, mailings to new members, I end up having people come and say, "Hey, do you do oils?" And so like, it's just so neat. Like when you really put your attention towards something, especially that positive energy towards something, like that's what that magnet, you become this magnet for that. So whether that's good or bad, but I mean, whether you choose the bad thoughts or the good thoughts, like it's so true and so amazing. And it was so good to hear you just talk about it today.
Well, thanks, Jody. And it's true, right? We're just attracting. We're attracting. And if we don't like what we're attracting, we need to make a change. I have to remind myself that often.
Hey, Rhonda. How do you reconcile things like law of attraction with, being prayerful, for example? Because, sometimes I struggle because when I listen to Michael Lozier, for example, and he talks about, whatever you think is what you get, etc. Prayer isn't normally mentioned, and I am a Christian and I believe strongly in God. And so sometimes I struggle with the concept of law of attraction because there's no mention of God anywhere. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, God is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That is God. Because what would be if you had a need, Dina, and I pray for you? What is that? I'm putting my faith in the words and the thoughts and the desires for whatever it is I'm praying for you.
But then you're including prayer, but no one else is.
But law of attraction is exactly that. It's what are my beliefs? What am I believing? What am I because just like it talked about in Proverbs, whatever I believe about myself is what I am. Doesn't mean what God ordained for me to be, because God ordained for all of us to be healthy and to be successful and to be happy and to be in great relationships, all of those things. But are we? No, we're not. And so the question becomes, why aren't we? It's because we're out of alignment.
Yeah, go
with
ahead,
that
Rhonda.
perfect. Sorry. Michelle, did you have something that you wanted to share?
No, Rhonda's just speaking. That's all. I'm just excited.
Oh, okay. So we're just in alignment with that, or we're not in alignment with that. So it works. It goes perfectly to that. And I really think if you haven't read, in all seriousness, Conquering Toxic Emotions, it addresses that. Like that whole book is based on scripture, because I am a believer and I'm not pulling God out of anything. This is, I believe, what he wants us to understand, so that our intentions and our beliefs, our thoughts, all of that are positive. And, the law of attraction is the same type of thing as gravity. I mean, it's just a universal law. And where people are positive, there's going to be much more unity. There's going to be clarity. There's going to be contentment. People are going to be healthier. And that's God ordained. But also God gave us free will. And if we decide that we want to go do other things and believe other things contrary to him, then we're not going to live in that state of contentment and health and all of, it's going to be different.
Thank you. And so Rhonda, would you say that when people say that the universe will bring you what you want, is that then, as a Christian, I would substitute universe with God, or is it something that you think is it's part of the law of attraction ordained by God, so that the universe does bring it to you because that's what God ordained? I'm just kind of slightly confused.
And I totally get that. I mean, that's great questions, Dina. Yes, it all works together. And so we could say God will bring that, but it's a universal law. And so to say, sometimes I will say the universe because I'm putting out energy into the universe, into the world. If that, I could say world, but it's still coming back to me because it is the law of attraction. It is the law of faith. It is, all of those things. So yes, you could say God, and that would be perfectly fine. And saying, if I say universe, it's never taking anything away from God, because God created the universe. God is universal. It's hard for me in my mind to take God out of any of that.
Thank you.
I'm ready to call you Reverend Rhonda. I can't believe I got on this call because I'm like, when Jody, thank you for always keeping us informed. And I knew this 10 a.m. I'm like, I have to be here this morning. I had something to do, but I'm like, that's going to have to wait because this is going to shape my day. And you just really ministered to me this morning. Skylar blessed me when I got on, and I just got this wow welcome. I started out like woohoo, and now I'm sitting here boo-hooing and crying. Don't have tissue. I'm like, yeah, why? I had what a gamut of emotions, but so much spoke to me. The paradigm shift. It's interesting when Kathleen Harvey blessed our group and came to Pennsylvania just before COVID in January. What a shift. I had just finished the 60 days of the Freedom Bundle, got released from a toxic job, started changing my mouth. Jody and Kathleen visited a class with me and my sisters and just spoke into my life. And I began to come into agreement. And when you can shift your mind, I used to think when I heard Jody and all of you talk about, ranking and being diamonds and crown diamonds, there were people in my life who were speaking what other people couldn't afford. I had to audit my circle. I didn't call it that, but I had to kind of separate myself and believe what the word says, believe what you guys were living. And it's like, I am ready. A woman said to me, I'm looking forward to giving you your gift for silver. I'm looking to receive it by September. And so we have to say these things, the class with Ed Daly. There's been so many things that have happened since January to now that I know God is so in control, because in the time span that's happening, I naturally could not make it happen, but the supernatural frequency of God and the power of the oils that we're getting from Young Living, I am telling you, y'all, if you knew, just buckle up, oil up, and just believe, because there are some things that I would have never imagined, but I believe them. And when you believe them, you see it. The world tells us seeing is believing, but when you believe it, it's going to show up. So Rhonda, thank you. I'm going to re-listen to this again. Jody, I hope the link for last week is is it on the page, because I need to listen to that. And Skylar, thank you. So I'm like high as a kite right now and don't even have a drug.
Good for you, Michelle. That's what it takes. That's exactly what it takes right there. Absolutely.
Hi, Miss Rhonda.
Hey, Tristan.
Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. I was just wondering what you recommend for when you feel conflicted. Say, for example, you want to make a decision, right? But you feel conflicted, which oils to use, or if you feel kind of stuck.
Well, one of the oils that I shared when I first got on here is clarity.
Okay.
Clarity is kind of my go-to when I need just that. I need clarity. I also love using sacred frankincense and transformation. So those are kind of my go-tos if I'm trying to figure out some things. And of course I pair that, you guys, with meditation, with prayer, right? With all those things, because to me, what meditation does for me is it allows me to still my mind, and it allows me to hear. And I don't know about you guys, but before, like I've prayed for years and years and years and years, but I didn't always understand meditation. As a matter of fact, I used to think meditation was some kind of woo-woo thing, right? And I now know that it is not. It is a matter of me clearing my mind. It is a matter of me being able to be focused and to hear, because I believe that God speaks to us continually through whatever means. Like, it's different for me than it might be for you, but I believe he's continually speaking to us through other people, through the written word, through just inspiration. I say just, inspiration is huge. Through inspiration, all these different things, right? But we can't hear if we're in chaos. So when I pray, I'm speaking, but when I'm meditating, I'm listening and I'm quiet.
Okay, thank you. So you said clarity, sacred frankincense, and transformation.
Transformation are mine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. You guys are great. I'm excited to see the things that happen. I mean, we just finished our first week, you guys. Raise your vibe. The first week. So we've got the whole month to go and lots of great things. And Britta's going to share with us next week, and I'm really excited for that. Whew, good stuff. Good stuff. But thank you all for being here and for your input.